Hi, my name is Henry, and on this channel I'm documenting my journey in calisthenics and fitness. Today I want to talk a little bit about the benefits of mixing weights and calisthenics. You might think it's impossible to do, but honestly it's very simple. Both styles of training are very complementary to each other, so stick around and you'll learn how you can do it and why you should do it. Now, if you're someone who lifts weights mainly, or you train calisthenics, and you're kind of curious about the other style of training, I highly recommend giving it a try to mix the two. Movements in both styles of training are very similar. For example, the push-up is just an upside down bench press, or backwards. Bench press is just an upside down version of the push-up. The bench press, you're pushing the weight away from you. When you do a push-up, you're pushing the floor away from you. There are a lot of movements with weights and calisthenics that go hand in hand. So that's one really good reason why mixing the two is not very difficult. A benefit of mixing them is that you keep training fun. Each workout you can do an exercise that requires more motor control, more balance, and then you can do an exercise that has more stability. On top of that, as someone who focuses mainly on calisthenics, weights is really good because it's much easier to overload and get stronger. That's why weighted calisthenics is so popular, why so many people do it, because adding weight is just a very simple way to get stronger, and it's a proven way to get stronger and bigger. So if you're a calisthenics athlete and you're considering trying weights, I highly recommend it. And if you lift weights and you want to try to enter the world of balance, hand balance, or doing exercises with a lot of motor control, or you just want to get a stronger pull-up and a stronger dip, I highly recommend that as well. Now, I originally started training purely with body weight. I would go to the park a few times a week, and after a while that got expensive because the park was like 5 or 10 minutes away from my house. So gas really was adding up, and at the time gas prices were rising. I'm sure they're still rising. I have no idea what's going on with gas prices at home in America, but still, the point is, going to the park wasn't a realistic option for me in the long term. So I decided to just go home and train. Luckily, I had enough equipment at home that I could do a mix of weights and calisthenics. So this is how I got introduced into the style of training. This style of training has been around for a long time. It's proven to work, and it's a good way to get the best of both worlds. Now, the first thing I recommend thinking about when building a plan is, what's your goal? What's your priority? Movements, the exercise you want to get stronger in either style of training, that's what you should put at the top of most of your training sessions. That's what you should really aim to get stronger in. And then that's how you're gonna choose other exercises to aid those specific exercises. If you wanna get stronger at the bench press, it doesn't make sense for you to completely drop it or just start focusing on calisthenics exercises. So whatever your focus is, keep that focus at the top of your training. Use that to build your training program. And one more thing, don't worry too much about the ratio of how many exercises you choose from either training style. It's okay if you only do 1 or 2. It's still considered hybrid training. You'll still get some benefits. As long as you enjoy the movement and it aids you in your goal, that's the most important thing. If your goal is to get bigger arms and you only do a few extra bicep and tricep exercises with machines, and then the rest of your training is calisthenics, then that's completely fine. If your goal is to get bigger, then the style of training isn't as important, but you'll probably gravitate a little bit more towards weights, as weights provide more stability, so it's much easier to just focus on purely building the size, getting extra volume in. However, there are still calisthenics exercises like weighted dips and weighted pull-ups that can help you get bigger. So these are some things you should consider when building your plan, when selecting the exercises. Now, let's get into how you can actually implement weights and calisthenics in your workouts. Now, the easiest way to mix the two is by selecting your priority. If your priority is weights, if there's like certain movements with weights you want to get stronger in, like the deadlift or the bench press or a military press, then you put those movements at the top of your upper body days or your lower body days if it's a squat. You put those movements at the top and you pick other exercises that will help you get stronger in those specific movements. An example of this is the weighted dip. It's a great complementary exercise to the bench press. If you have a strong bench press, you're gonna have a strong weighted dip, and vice versa. So you can have one day for your chest day where you focus on the bench press, another day for your weighted dip, and if you want to do 3 times a week on the bench press or a pushing movement, then you can do a bench press 1 more day. Now, this is a good way to spread out the fatigue and not burn yourself out doing bench press 3 times a week. You're still doing a movement that's getting you stronger in your goal, but you're reducing the intensity because the weighted dip is just naturally less intense than a bench press. If you want to learn a calisthenics skill and you're mainly in the gym lifting weights, that's your main style of training, then you can throw in 2 to 3 times a week. You can throw in maybe a handstand practice at the start of your training session. I think this is a good way to make your training fun and make it a little more, unique. Because how often are you gonna learn how to handstand? Like, it's a tough skill to learn, but it's very worth it, and you get more comfortable being upside down. At first, a lot of people, I know I was, are at least scared to be upside down because they don't know how to fall the right way, and it's just so unnatural to them. On top of that, you even get stronger in the shoulders. You get better at understanding how to distribute your weight. So if you want to learn skills and your main style of training is weightlifting, then you can just throw the skills at the very top, and then you can go back into your regular style of training. If you want to get better at pull-ups, then you can throw in pull-ups or weighted pull-ups on your back days. And you can mix that up with a lat pull-down machine, barbell rows, which are great for the thickness of your back, and they translate over to the pull-ups as well. You could even do inverted rows to add a little bit more volume, or add a superset at the end of a barbell row, for example. Like, you can do a single arm row with your dumbbells, and then you can go into an inverted row right away to do a superset. So these are just some ways you can mix in calisthenics skills or movements into your weight training to get stronger in calisthenics skills, like the weighted dip, the weighted pull-up, or even pike push-ups, ball handstand push-ups. Then you can use weight to supplement those movements and make yourself stronger in those movements. A good example is the bench press or the dumbbell bench press. If you mix that in with your weighted dip training, you will see some growth, you will get stronger. The movements have some correlation. If you want to get stronger at the weighted pull-up, you can add a lat pull-down, because eventually once you get too tired to do any more pull-ups, you get burnt out, you can go to lat pull-down machine and you can do a little bit more. You don't have to worry about stabilizing your body or hanging from the bar or your grip strength. You can just get on the machine and then start adding extra volume. Now, this is a very easy way to mix weights and calisthenics. You pick your priority, whatever you want to focus on, and then you just pick movements from the other style of training that will aid you in your goals and getting stronger in those movements. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of training legs. I train legs, but it's not as fun as doing upper body for me. But I can't deny that using weights for your legs is much more efficient than pure body weight or calisthenics. However, you can get a good workout in with just calisthenics for your legs, but it's preferred to use weights because you can progressively overload, add more weight. So another way to mix the training, if you want to focus on calisthenics purely for your upper body, you can throw in weights for your lower body. That's a very easy way to mix the two. Now, if you're already training with weights and you want to add in body weight exercises for your legs, you can try to learn how to pistol squat or squats for a superset at the end of maybe you do a Bulgarian split squat with weights, and then you drop the weight and you just add a superset of body weight. Even if your goal is just size or strength, you can still do this. Now, it's a bit easier because if you don't have a goal of either weights or calisthenics and you just want to get bigger and stronger, you're just going to stick to compound movements and follow training principles like progressively overloading, getting enough protein, and resting. You can have a lot more flexibility on the exercises you choose or the ratios. So yeah, this is just a simple way to mix weights and calisthenics. Pick your priority and then use your priority to build your plan around it. If your goal is to get a bit stronger bench press or a stronger weighted dip, then you'll pick exercises from either style of training that will help you get to that goal. Let's say you mainly train weights in the gym and you want to learn some skills in calisthenics. You can throw in handstands at the very beginning of your training, because I think handstands are a great skill to learn. Chin-ups as well, or some body weight dips as a superset with your main weighted compound movements. If you're a calisthenics guy and you want to focus on calisthenics but you want to add in some weights, you can do your skill at the top at the very beginning. Then you can do your weighted pull-ups or your weighted dips. Do your calisthenics exercises, maybe like a pike push-up, wall assisted handstand push-up. Then you can go into accessories like chest flies, bicep curl machine, tricep dip machine. You could do shoulder accessories with dumbbells. These are just example plans that you can use to mix weights and calisthenics. This is something I would do or something I've been doing. Don't overcomplicate it. Honestly, just pick your goals and then just pick some exercises that will help you get to those goals regardless of which side of training it comes from. There's no wrong or right, it's just which style of training or what kind of training plan do you enjoy. Are you having fun with your training? Are you following the correct training principles? Then you're good. That's all that really matters. If this video was helpful, if you enjoyed it, please leave a comment down below. Let me know what was helpful about it. Make sure to check out some of my other videos. Thanks for watching and have a nice day.